All right, so let's test this out. So we're going to see if our tables are created, and we're going to be using our H2 database. So we're going to be using the local properties file, and I've already configured that to use a local profile. All right, so I'm getting some error, payroll not found. Okay, I see why. So actually, so the way it's working is because I'm using this local properties file. So when you use a local properties file, it still points to the main properties file as well. It uses this main one. So basically, any properties that I have listed here, it overwrites the properties listed here. So for example, my local properties file, I have this Spring Data URL. I specified it here. So it's gonna take this and overwrite it with this one. And what's happening is that it's using this Hibernate dialect, which is MySQL. So we didn't specify any dialect for local property. So it's using this one, MySQL. So we need to tell it is to use, instead of MySQL, we need to use H2. And same thing, we're gonna skip the username and password. So over here, we're gonna say, actually just keep the same username, but no password. So we don't require a password for H2 local database. Let's see if this works. So let's run this again. All right, so this started up, and let's test this out. So we're gonna go to localhost 8080. We're running on port 8080, and the GUI is h2-console. So this is the default link. All right, so I got my payroll DB URL set up here, and let's call this payroll user. Okay, so we actually got two tables created, employee and payroll, and we got all the columns listed here as well. So right now they're all empty, so we can even run this SQL query as well. I'm gonna do quickly both of them. All right, so our rows are empty. We got our columns listed here, and same thing. There you go. So we got our columns for payroll as well. And you can see the employee ID. This is a foreign key column. Now, if you want to use the MySQL database, we can easily switch to it. So we can stop running this. And instead of pointing to the local profile, we're going to point to the main profile. So over here, we're using MySQL, which is, and our server is already running. So let's see if our tables get created if I run this. All right, let's go to MySQL server, and let me refresh this. And yep, our tables are created. So we got the employee and the payroll. And again, we can do the same thing. From the name of our database is payroll DB, and the name of our table is payroll. And we're gonna do the same thing for employee. And let's run this. All right, so we got our columns listed here for employee. And same thing for our payroll. All right, so our models are created for our database. Now, next, we're gonna create the repository that will allow us to write SQL queries to fetch the data and also insert the data and write services for that as well.